All right, hello, hello, hello. Looks like you guys can see me. I'm on the weird chat again, so just so you guys know, it was so much better before. Is it here? No, it's not that one. Great. I just hit controls and I don't know what I did with it. No, no, I don't need that in there. Go back. There we go. I'll figure it out one day how to get it back. It was so nice. You could just right click on it, ban people, do whatever I wanted. And now I can't find it again. I hate when things update. Go down there. All right, there we go. Yeah, no, no, it's not what you see, it's what I see. Yeah. So, yeah, at least like I said, it used to put the chat properties inside of the encoder, and now it's not there. So I used to just look at one encoder, but now I got to look at something completely different. So it's kind of a pain. It's like, oh, where is it? Um, and it's blue on the other one, so it's like hard to see. Um, okay. All right, so let's get started for this morning. I'm gonna get Kip in probably about 20 minutes, unless it has a 10 o'clock for a client meeting, and then another one right after that, back to back. So I'm gonna have Kip earlier. He's been a nightmare all morning. So if he, hopefully, when I say nightmare, he just is a boy with a lot of energy. I tried to have him on for the beginning of the next piece, and he was like throwing toys and pacifiers and talking a ton. So I mean, not being a bad, quote bad child, but definitely being an active child. So we'll see. I'm not going to be you know, that boy kicks my coffee over. It's going to be be child services calls. Just kidding. Um. Anyway, so only movement we've had really in currencies has been dollar CAD. CAD getting recoupled back again, seeing some strength come in. Oil really hasn't moved, but obviously the CAD recoupling, playing catch up, is what drove it down. So, um, good CAD data today. Crappy retail sales data. We knew it was going to be crappy to start off, and then we have crude oil coming in today. When we get to the crude oil piece, we'll kind of discuss this more. But right now, the inventory idea is that it's going to be a surplus of quite a substantial amount. So, you know, so far we haven't really seen any movement in the European session as far as that goes, as far as movement. But you know, we'll see. Um, Again, U.S. session can always kind of run it in one direction or another. So all eyes today. I have new coffee and it's very, very hot. Um, all eyes today are going to be on FOMC, what their economic projections look like. Expected to be a 0.25 raise. I don't know why there are people out there calling this historic. A historic day on deck. Okay. The United States, just so everybody knows, has risen interest rates in the past. This is not the first time it's ever happened, so it's not that historic. But hey, that's the media trying to trump it all up today. But it's expected to be a 0.25 raise right now. Um, if you guys listen to Nadex or heard me say a week ago, if you said there was a surprise and didn't tell me what it was, I'd say, oh, they did do the point. They did do the 0.5 like they should have. Now with China locking people down, does Powell take the old wimpy stance and say, you know what, we're going to push it back one more just to make sure that we're not going to have major supply chain disruptions. We don't want to increase it and then have to talk about lowering it again, right? I mean, honestly, if that happens, wouldn't I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised, for lack of a better word. If that happens, like I really hope that that's not even a possibility on the table. But with Pal, I mean, he has told us before he's going to do something and then completely backs out on it. So I don't even know, right? But could you imagine the indices will absolutely go bonkers? They will go buck wild, straight up in the air if that is the case today. They will literally go crazy. With the 0.25, uh, I mean, the reality is, even at a 0.25, the market, I mean, all the experts say we need at least point 0.5. Technically, 0.25 is a win, also, right? And again, we'll see. I mean, yesterday the great debate on CNBC was, is the 0.25 already priced in? Bonds, everybody was in agreement. Yes, the bonds market is already priced in 0.25. But had the indices priced it in already? And the answer was they weren't really there was conviction and question marks on both sides. So again, will that 0.25, will the market, will the big money out there be like, ha, this 0.25 is a joke, let's go? Will it be straight up, or will people be like, "Oh my God, raising interest rates is so bad. This is horrible. Sell, sell, sell." Right. So kind of set up pretty interesting. A lot of today's action for that is going to be, what is price doing beforehand, just like we do any other news release. That's no different. Now, this is not really a candidate for a parabolic move today, and the reason why is just because, again, something like an interest rate is a fundamental shift in the market. It's not just you know a blip on the radar, right? There's no revisions. Like you can't raise the interest rate and then next time be like, oh, we revised it back down. My bad, right? We counted wrong. It doesn't work that way. It is a fundamental change in the market, so it's a little bit different. Um, but the cool thing is we have oil, which we could definitely trade. Then we have FOMC after that, which again they're expected to raise, which is awesome. And then later on today we have pound GDP. I'm sorry, not pound, New Zealand, right? That's kind of a cool thing coming up later on down the road. And then we have Australia tonight, right? And they're supposed to have really, really good data. So there's a lot to trade today, right? This is one of those days where it's like, man, there is so much for us to trade. We don't normally get this much data, but there's a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, a lot of good stuff, a lot of trading opportunity, and then even tomorrow morning early on, Lagarde is speaking, and again, the pound is raising tomorrow morning. So 24 hours, two interest rates, maybe even potentially language for a third. That's a lot. It's a lot in 24 hours. All right, it's a lot in 24 hours. Oops, not that one. Just trying to click here. So some of the other headlines. This one, Zelensky again. Um, he wants all businesses to leave Russia. There is no business in Russia. Okay, sure. This America should close its ports to Russia. Okay, sure. We could, you've already taken away our Russian vodka. What is next? You know, um, I mean, Tito's is good, but I feel like it's at the end. This is like turning into like Cuban cigars all over again. We got Russian vodka, right? I mean, come on, right? Um, you know, Zelensky proposes new U-24 United for Peace alliance to provide assistance to the Ukraine. It's like, okay. Um, I don't know. It at the end of the day, Russia is a large nation. It has lots of people. They have lots of natural resources. Um, it's great that they're like all businesses should leave. I guess, but I mean, a lot of businesses are going to look at that and be like, "There's a lot of people there." Like, I don't know. You can try to punish the people more, but I don't know. It's I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like it's similar to like what China did, right? China is able to grow, they can cut things down. I mean, you could block them from the United States, but I'll tell you what, the United States is not the leading force anymore in the world. I know it burns, it sucks, but I mean, honestly, you have China kind of controlling a lot of the reins now. You have India, their population is also surging and really starting to, again, they got a couple pieces to move and they're kind of taking over, you know, we have financial sectors, popping up, right? All over the world. The more the United States starts blocking things off and pulling businesses and shutting businesses down, the faster we decline from power. So it's already there, right? Saudi Arabia has already started to make changes and said they're going to do thing in Chinese currency instead of U.S. currency. As soon as we get removed as the world currency, again, yeah, it's happening. You have the two biggest powers that can oppose us are now more united, and the Middle East is also now stacking against us. So yeah, Zelensky, let's just shut it all down. Let's build a wall. Oh wait, we tried that already. It didn't work. So that's kind of where we're at with Zelensky. I don't know. I've heard mixed opinions on both sides from people that I actually know that live over there. Some like him, some don't like him. Yeah. But again, we're back on the talks with peace stuff again. Um, now we're talking about providing killer drones called switchblades. Lovely, right? Um, yeah, that's going to make Russia want to go to peace even more. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I would say that today we're back on the positive note. Yesterday we were on the positive note, and then Putin was like, "We're far away. This ain't gonna work." And then we got negative again. We'll see where it rolls. I think I think we're moving in the right direction. Zelensky's made some comments about, hey, listen, there is some positive talks back and forth. He was rolling along, and I think it was very, very good for the market until he said, "Yeah, because Russia finally realizes that they were stupid and that they failed." And it's like, ah. Dude, you were rolling. You were doing great until you wanted to insult their egos because they are, again, they are pretty ego based. So that's not the way to end the war. COVID spike data is also, again, China. We know that it's Omicron now. Their markets were like, Omicron, yes, and went crazy, and they rebounded back up again. We haven't seen any effect from it yet in our market, just because, again, they are still locked down. There's going to be a time frame. I don't know whether it's 2 weeks, 10 days. Um, again, remember the United States was like Omicron, 5 days, get back to work. We'll see how long China actually locks down. Will there be supply chain shortages? Probably. Um, don't know how bad yet. It really depends if it stays at the 51 or if they expand it further, and really how long they lock it down for. Remember, Omicron is one of those things. I mean, we saw it here. The only way to stop Omicron is to get Omicron, is basically kind of what it turned into. Omicron didn't care. Todd was pissed because Todd got his booster and his like extra booster and his triple booster and still got COVID. So he was kind of pissed at that one. Yeah, I love the memes out there. Like if you didn't, the Matrix memes. Like if you didn't catch COVID, right? It's like being part of the Matrix. Um, Yeah, but there are definitely people. Like I said, I haven't got it yet that I know of. I mean, I probably did. I just haven't ever had a positive test. And I always said if I got it, I wanted to be one of those asymptomatic people. But I think it's fair to assume that pretty much everybody had it at some point. I never ever got a positive test for anything. So, which is impossible. I had one kid that got it, but everybody else in the family was negative twice. So I don't know how just one kid gets it and nobody else does. Who knows? But yeah, so that COVID spike we're gonna see a boom from that eventually. Um, Right now, oil is obviously being held down because of it. When they remove that kind of lockdown, I think oil is going to have a pretty good opportunity to go, right? What? Okay. I think that one could definitely be a big mover. I don't know when it's going to be. Like I said, there's no way to forecast it. Probably 2 to 3 weeks out. But I think it'll be very interesting to watch oil over the next kind of week to 10 days and see kind of what happens with it. Particularly because, like again, the United States has been solely blamed from Russia and really China to that extent. And now, if we're going to send specialized drones in to help them get even worse, they're going to take this. I mean, you know, here we're going to give you these special things out there that are, even more. And again, I don't know. I feel like they've done well so far, but again, we're going to start spending more money, and then you're like, hey, but you're not allowed to get any help. But we're going to send a lot of help. That Putin's not going to go for that. China's already said that the United States was an aggressor in this, and now we're sending extra stuff over. It's like let's end it, guys. Let's end it and move on. Okay. Um, So yeah, so let's go into charts and see what we got. Hold on one sec. My phone is now blowing up. I looked at it once and I was like, it's not going to be a big deal. Mm, okay, now they're talking about. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. It's older kids. Um. All right. So one of my other coach, man, I don't know if anybody has kids that they're doing youth sports, but holy crap, does it suck a lot of time up. We had a commissioner meeting last night. It's supposed to be 45 minutes and turned into an hour and a half. And I was literally like, it was just like, this is the most painful thing I've ever had to deal with. All right, Aussie dollar. So, Aussie dollar in the last 24 hours. So we saw a pretty nice little run here. You guys can see that going back into late last night really kind of provided a bottom, right? And we knew we had a level here. We are kind of waiting for an if this then that to break through. And every time it bounces off this level, I like the level even more because it shows us that there are buyers there. Now, we did mark it off, and say, hey, listen, if this is the bottom, there are some potential areas. We knew we had a little bit of seller area here, right? And again, it hit it a couple times, and we base in front of you, like, yeah, it's going to break. But remember, now we're getting into the opportunity here. And again, a lot of this Aussie strength, I think, is coming from what we're going to see tonight. And again, getting ready to prepare for the 0.25 race. We're now up at the 50% pullback level. Okay. Now, again, we knew we had a little area here. We kind of went up. We based in front of it. So we are there is a little bit of buyers right below this area, which kind of makes it a little bit suspect. But I like the proximity that we're in right now. We're close to the 50. We're close to the 61.8. We got the 61.8 level. There's a base, sitting right there. How much does it need to move from now till 2 p.m.? 28 pips. Absolutely could do that. The 30-minute ATR is 9. So if we're talking about 21, 3 hours, we're talking about that, basically up in the 27 range with lunch. We're kind of in the ballpark. So we do have some levels. And again, one level here at the 61.8. We also have this level of basing that kind of based off of right above it. So we do definitely have some areas here where when this US data comes in a 0.25 raise, if it is not baked in, all of a sudden that leads us to go here and straight down. So not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. Um, Trying to think what else we can do with from now till then. Like I said, this is set up right now. Aussie strength, dollar weakness, but again, realizing the interest rate should bring some momentum back in again. It is above a daily ATR movement straight up. We haven't seen profit taking. So, I mean, when you're looking at this one, I'm really looking for where do I find short opportunity? Because again, what has it done? I mean, really, from if you take the bottom right here, late last night, really from the Aussie kind of like news time, it's gone straight up. We had a little bit of a pullback right here around 3 o'clock, right at the European Open. Again, that was the profit taking from the Asian session, and then the European session straight up. So I mean, they are preparing. This is all dollar weakness, dollar weakness, dollar weakness, dollar weakness. They are setting this one up for a strong dollar news release later on today, and we know that that comes in with FOMC at 2 o'clock. So got 4 hours, but really, can we get a good entry up top? If you guys are going to play this using the options market, you're going to have to follow this one pretty closely. I would probably almost want to wait till the news, probably till like lunchtime frames, maybe even the shorter duration contracts. The reason why is because there's going to be a ton of premium jacked into an interest rate rise. Remember, a lot of the premiums and options are pulled from, like premium for different options are pulled from, the volatility in the markets. There's less volatility at lunch, so there should technically be less volatility, less spread. So I love to say, find something to get short right now, but you may have to wait about 2 hours before you can do it. But again, Aussie setting up for a decent short later today. Aussie and also driving, and we knew that we had one level sitting here at 85.76. We talked about it. It wasn't the first time it had hit. It had hit all the way back there again. We pushed it. We hit it again. We kind of started the base. We hit it again. So again, here's 3 touches. Not even talking about the original. Now we have pushed up to the 85.94, and this was a level that we were looking for. Again, we're seeing a lot of Australian strength come in. Okay. Now, if you're looking at gold and saying, all right, well, is this a gold move? Gold is actually down a little bit. So it almost seems like all of the proxy pairs are playing catch up today, right? Massive Canadian strength coming in, catching up with the recent move we've had. We saw gold spike up to $2,000, and now it has pulled back, right? But they also didn't do anything. So is it playing catch up right now? I think this one is kind of following it again. This is also the yen in there. Again, some Aussie movement, but it's been straight up in the overnight. And really, kind of what news? I mean, if you look to see, what do we have last night, right? You see anything over here? Not much. I mean, the only news that really we have with Australia right now is New Zealand is like, yep, we're opening back to tourist business to Australia. That's not going to move it that much, right? That shouldn't be moving it that much. So question is this going to be our hold spot? Are we going to see this initial push in a base, and then are we going to see the yen start getting some strength coming back in? Or are we going to push up to the higher time frame levels, and then will FOMC jump in and help us turn this down and give us some yen strength? So I think both of them are similar. Of the two, I kind of like the Aussie dollar better than the Aussie yen. The dollar and the Aussie kind of have their own little worlds in there. So you know, take it for what it's worth, right? But I think the Aussie dollar is a better trade today to be able to play versus the Aussie yen, because it is a proxy. Now, euro pound. Euro pound started to drop back down again. We saw this big push down, pound strength coming in, got a little bit of a retracement yesterday. European session has really kind of stepped in and made it a little bit choppy and then pulled it back down. So we definitely have an area basing right here around this 23. Again, the 23, it's like, oh, look, it went up. And it's like, kind of got halted there very fast. I think right now on this one, we're still waiting for pound strength to come in. Remember, we got to get through today, but tomorrow morning, the pound is raising another 0.25%. They are continuing down the path. It has kind of been telegraphed for a lot longer. That is going to be right here. It's already telegraphed, and this is and we're not talking about this one. Um, the 0.75 is kind of like a big deal. Okay. If you guys just do like a regular search about like what can we get in a savings account right now? 0.75 is really starting to take that rate and make it to the point where it is valid to put big money there because it's more than what you can get just sitting in a regular bank account. If the U.S. rises interest rates, it's not like our savings rate in our bank account is suddenly going to jump to 2%. So that 0.75 is starting to become big. And remember, currencies being $1 billion market, now all of a sudden we could have a differential between zero with the yen and the pound being at 0.75. That's a nice return, right? And you get that return every single day. You don't have to, there's no long extensions or anything that you have to wait for it. You're going to start seeing big money flood back into that. Okay, the US is a little bit behind as far as the carry trade goes, but this is a big deal. Carry trade is not a scalper strategy. It's not a penny stock. It is a large institutional size investment strategy that was done for years, for such a long time, and will come back again. So the pound is getting back into that position. I think for right now, for the euro pound, that brings pound strength in. That brings this one back down. Okay. So again, like to see where we are yesterday. Would like to be long, or I'm sorry, would like to be long pound, short euro pound. What are you doing? You're making noise. You've been here 1 minute. You're making noise already. Um, I think 83.60 is where we pull the trigger on this one, looking for this to come back down. Again, remember, fib traders are going to be looking for this 50% pullback. So kind of excited about that one. That was a trade that we talked about yesterday. Euro pound. Okay. So euro pound, we talked about 130.09. And again, we got front run, we came back up, and now you can see we're chopping around, and it's like, man, is this the high? Is this where we're going to be? Right? Is this kind of where it's at? Um, Very interesting place, just like we saw with the Aussie yen, right? The Aussie yen is also up in an area up high, kind of where we're looking at this and saying, hey, is this where the yen strength is going to come into this whole deal? Very, very similar, right? We have the Aussie dollar high. We have the Aussie yen also kind of touching a level, right? A sell level that we saw. And we have the same scenario here. Typically, when you have two or three in the same place, those are typically good sell areas. Now, this one is basically a break even from where the entry was. Again, looking to see if we got a decent top on it. We kind of did. If you really wanted to kind of redraw this with more recent, I would use that level right there to kind of redraw it, just to kind of refine the risk a little off the zone. And we kind of do have the confirmation. I think there's a little bit more time. I think 10:30 would be really where we take that fall, or again, use it off the bottom if you really want, and play it down. But I would say it's also set up in a similar situation, right? And again, remember, Aussie yen to Aussie dollar to Aussie yen. Euro dollar is also kind of in a similar situation. Now it's pulled back, right? It's definitely since yet late yesterday, it's definitely pushed up. We've seen dollar weakness, knowing that there's interest rate change. It is in areas of sellers. It's not. If I had to rank this one versus the Aussie dollar, I would say that the Aussie dollar is a better setup. It's higher in the curve. It's close to the level of sellers. Yeah, there's sellers in here, but are they the best? No, they're not. They're not as good as the 113. This one's got to move a decent amount. It's got about 130 pips before it hits that zone. You really got to be looking kind of in this small area and say, hey, listen, is there something hidden in here that we could be able to take? And if you run fibs on this one, top to bottom, you can see that we are kind of right around the 50 percentile. I mean, yesterday we kind of came up and grabbed it and pushed, and again we knew we had sellers here, right around the 61.8. We just hit it again, so it is also in somewhat of a level where you could say, hey, Aussie dollar at a sell area, right? Aussie yen also kind of a sell area. Euro yen kind of at a sell area. Euro dollar, is there a reason to sell here? It is at a 50% retracement. It is quite a large zone. You could draw this one here and say, hey, look at that whole area right there. And look, it's confirmed, Brian. It kind of is. Do I like it as much as Aussie dollar? No, but it is definitely another valid entry where you could get short and take this one and ride it all the way back down to 108.30. Now, how much can this move is the big question, okay? A lot of this is going to depend on the language with the economic projections, okay? This is where this is going to get really challenging. In normal interest rate change, I would say 1.5 times the daily ATR is what we can get, okay? If we're looking at the daily ATR right now for this, the daily ATR is about 108 pips. And again, we're not going to use that. We're going to talk about it being, we'll kind of pick where these peaks are. About 85. I would say that this is probably worth 150 today is what we could probably do with this. Okay. 150 pips, right? And just to kind of give you guys an idea of context of this, 150 pips, there's 165. Okay. Flip side, if we go up, 150 is right there. So being in the middle, right? We could literally head to either of these two zones. And again, not necessarily a reversal, but we're looking for more of a target than anything else. It's 150 up, 160 to the downside. Okay, so using this 50% retracement in an area of confirmed sellers, it's been confirmed one time. Is it the best? Is it the best place? No, because it has been hit two other times before. But there's a number of different factors in it. And the question is, where does it go? 111.30 or 108.30 are the two targets as far as the euro dollar goes. Now, pound yen. Okay. Pound yen is grinding, 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 grinding. We talked about this being kind of a little bit more of an aggressive level. We were trying to find where the top would be. We were trying to match this up, saying, okay, listen, if it comes over here, that'll be the 50. Remember, the pound has got a lot more room to run to the top side. There's a few levels. This is kind of an intermediate, a drop, a base, and then kind of a push off of it. And we're trying to figure out, all right, listen, where would the top be based off of this movement? And again, right now, if that's the top, again, we're still kind of in that range for that 153.33 to the downside. So, question is, where do we put a top on it? I think you need to be very, very cautious trying to go short the pound yen right now. Yes, the Aussie yen at a sell area, Euro yen at a sell area. If yen gets both strength in both those pairs, this one will also go down. Um, do I like any of these tops up here? Really not until something all the way up top. I mean, we got over, let's see. Yeah, it's about 90 pips away on this one. I mean, the reality of this is, let's see. Let's pull it back. Oof, do I want to use that? Say there's a level in here, quite a lot of risk. That's a potential turn. And then again, if you mark the top, it's not even a super clean top. Ugh, let's see. That's about 130. I would say that this would probably be, again, it's a confirmed kind of base level. I'd say that this is probably the best area. Would be all the way up here. Okay. And again, could that be a target for tomorrow? Sure. Um, mm, talking about 120 pips out. Ah, I I like this one long. I don't necessarily like this one short. Can we get a pullback in this one today? Yeah, just because of the yen. But I'm afraid that, again, I'm definitely on the bullish side for the pound, especially with raising again. They've done many raises in a row. It seems to be working for the most part. Buddy, what are you doing? You cannot roll in this chair. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yes, it doesn't work. Let me grab sister's toy for you. Here, here, here. With this, take this. There you go. Um, if you guys are willing to get some, if you're gonna play yen strength today, I think I'd play it in Aussie yen, Euro yen. I don't necessarily want to pay it in pound yen, but if you are looking for something that you're really, hey, listen, if we get a pop and you want a reversal, I would say 155.90 would be where to go. Okay, I'd say look for a pullback to the downside. Twitch is giving me a headache. What's Twitch doing today? Is it logging you out? Is it bouncing you? I can't see it. I can't even see the chat in Twitch today. So I'm kind of looking on like a proxy platform. So I'll see what you say like 10 minutes after you say it. Um, pound dollar. Okay. Pound dollar. So I like where pound dollar is. Just like we talked about, we had another Harry Potter setup that we were waiting for. I think 130 is the magical number we're waiting for here. Will we get enough dollar strength to break through today? Probably. With the dollar pulling up, though, it's probably going to be a secondary target for us. Right now, with price pulling up again, we've already marked an area off at 132.27. I think in the next 4 hours, we need to kind of look and say, hey, listen, is there anything in here potentially that we can go off of to sell from? So, again, obviously a trend change here, pulled back up again, and if we use this as a high and we run it down to the low, you can see that we are kind of bouncing off the 50% retracement level. Now, looking to the left to find out, is there a level here? There is kind of a small level. Yeah, there is kind of one. I think the level here at the 61.8 is a little bit better, and we got kind of close to that one. I'm curious to see if we can rally just a little bit more up into that zone before the 2 o'clock time frame. Again, we got 2 hours this morning. We have lunchtime for 2 hours, and then bam, the FOMC statement comes in. From that level, we have a drop of about 95 pips. I think this one absolutely can jump, again, with a surprise of some sort. This one easily can jump 120 to 150. This pair definitely has the legs to do that. Um, it's there. I was kind of hoping we were going to come down here and stabilize and then be able to take it, but it did nothing but start sending us higher. It's given us dollar weakness across the board. So it's close. This is more of a 50% retracement, really kind of a 61.8, guys, not so much the 50. It's already basing below, but if we pull up just a little bit more, it's a European session run up. running into an area of sellers. It coincides with a major fib level. We haven't really seen anything else. We don't have anything higher time frame until much, much higher up. Just like it looks just like the Aussie dollar. It's dollar setting up for a short. It's like the euro dollar, kind of the same thing. And now pound dollar is also in another area. So it's really going to be about finding which opportunity is going to be best to take it short. Okay. Now dollar CAD, also lots of dollar weakness. Now our target did get hit. The 127.41 got hit. We're kind of hoping to see if we were sitting on this green level for FOMC, we were going to look to get long. We did. It's not. It's much lower down. And again, we talked about the 126.92. It looks like the 126.92 is the area. Again, massive dollar weakness down. And again, a lot of this is probably pre-preparing for the dollar, and then CAD obviously playing catch up, right? But now, and again, like I said, that's why we have it here. With this coming up, is this going to be the takeoff point higher today? And it looks like it's already starting to roll. Um, see, how far would it need to move? Oh, 1 to 3 is right there. So not actually a bad spot. Profit targets for long should be sitting right there. Okay, so now it's more of a here. Let's see. It should be at 2 o'clock. 14 right there. So it's the last one. So that's what we were kind of calling for yesterday, right? We talked about the green level, but obviously it ended up pushing through. Wasn't able to hold. I thought that would probably give us a little bit more resistance, but it didn't. It's been all massive dollar weakness. So same kind of trade, right? Setting up for more dollar strength off this time than anything else. And again, it's kind of across the board. I'm kind of surprised that we're getting this much dollar weakness for something that has been so telegraphed. But there you go. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss. Look at that. We did get the top yesterday, right? We were looking for one of these two levels just a little bit higher, but you can see since yesterday at really, wow, yesterday at 1 o'clock from when we did chart school, that was the top. It's pulled back a little bit and really not done much. In 24 hours, dollar Swiss has moved 21 pips, and I don't, how is that 21 pips up? Hmm. Oh, because it's 10 o'clock. Sorry. 10 o'clock is here. I was like, wait a second. We were on at 12 yesterday. So that number's about to get eaten up. So it was sitting right here yesterday. So yes, it is up a little bit right now from where we were. Well, I don't know about 20, I guess 10 o'clock would have been down here. It's 10. Yeah, so I guess it would have been down here. So yeah, I guess it's 20. But it's about to get eaten up pretty quick because within one candle we're within 5 pips. So this is about to go to basically zero in 24 hours. So again, we talked about being short from both of these levels. We're not quite there. It's basing. I think a couple of the other pairs has a little bit better opportunity than this. Okay. Dollar yen. So how's that for the dollar yen? So talk about this pop. Let's see. Yeah, yesterday we retraced back up again, the same level. We're still kind of sitting there. So dollar yen's going to be a rough one today. Again, you're going to have the dollar, which changing, and you have a proxy for the indices. So it's kind of a dollar and then a proxy. Buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Why are you so energetic today? Why are you so energetic? Come here. You want to get up? Oh, come here. Oh, come here. All right, let's be good. Let's not pound on the keyboard. He's figured out what keyboards are now. Yes, it's gonna be loud today. He starts pound. He likes the space bar. He hits the space bar. I don't know if he likes the noise of it or whatever, but then he gets mad when I won't let him hit the space bar. So, anyway, dollar yen. Actually, I think dollar yen has the ability to go higher today. Again, we talked about seeing yen weakness across the board. Seeing these things kind of I'm sorry, yen strength coming back into the market because it's just been kind of getting slammed. Unfortunately, again, being a proxy, I think the dollar is going to have a little bit more oomph today. Now, again, could the market be really really disappointed? Yeah, it could be. Um, hey, buddy, I cannot talk with you making this much noise. What? I know you're smiling now. You know exactly what you're doing, huh? You know exactly what you're doing. Um, so I think dollar yen, what I would say, urge the most caution today. I think that's the one that is probably going to catch the most people because they're like, oh, that's the one that does the indices. It's safe. Yeah, we'll do that one. But there's a lot of factors going on today. And again, the way that the Aussie dollar, Euro dollar, pound dollar are all set up, I think those provide better opportunities for you today. So just again, if you're looking to trade this one, be cautious. Bitcoin up again. This is kind of the risk on thing. Again, VIX is way down, right? VIX is down 4.8%. It's kind of a risk on scenario, right? But I would say, as far as what we can do with Bitcoin today, if you guys are trading it, I'd say watch all the cryptos. If the dollar does get a bigger than expected hike, that's actually not great for cryptos because again, money will cycle back out into kind of trusted assets that will pay you to hold them. You're not making dividends and things off the crypto. So, both of these, they're not quite at highs. It had the quick spike and drop, but again, we've broken out of that small channel, but we're just kind of in a new channel up top. Um, bonds, yeah, bonds not doing great today. And again, I know not a lot of people trade bonds, but we're always looking for this to see kind of where the risk is with the overall indices, as well as commodities. Obviously, down a little bit, starting to rise a little. Remember, bonds have kind of a reverse relationship with interest rates. Again, because there's tickets and how much are they getting paid, and where I think bonds are important today. And again, this is kind of a little bit more advanced with things in the economic projections today. So one of the things that the Fed, again, this is if you took a step back and looked at this, and we took like U.S. government Fed out, right? We are currently providing QE and ready to raise interest rates all at the same time. So we are doing basically we're taking coffee and melatonin all at the same exact time, right? We have a stimulant and a depressant, and this is kind of what life has turned into, right? On paper, you're like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? Okay. One of the things they're talking about is like the balance sheet. You keep hearing about the balance sheet. It's a big statement thus far that they've said we are not going to accelerate. We're not going to sell off the balance sheet. We're just going to let it run off naturally and let these things come to fruition. Basically saying, hey, listen, we provided support. We don't want the support to really have much of an effect. We're going to let them come to maturity and things like that. And when they do that, they actually do make money. The Fed definitely makes plenty of money on the positions they take, but this is one of those things that if that doesn't change, again, bonds should be kind of where we see that first. And remember, bonds is already priced in the interest rate change. So it's kind of like the safe area to look at. Bonds are not really manipulated the same kind of way. Um, Again, interest rates not necessarily the best thing for bonds, and we're already starting to see it kind of get impacted. If you start to see crazy movement in the bonds, okay, now again, even if you don't want to trade bonds, which is totally fine, right? I'll look at bonds. I don't really trade them. I've traded them in options mostly. Um, and I do like a lot of these these iShares for bonds, the ETFs. They're great to trade, especially if you guys in wealth accounts. You know, when you have an individual wealth account and you guys are looking to trade them, right? A great way to do it is saying, listen, I need bond exposure. Do it through the ETFs. You don't need to do it through actual bonds. Bonds themselves are kind of a pain. It's the access to them is very. It's you can get it, but it's more complicated. Just use the ETFs, and then you trade option strategies on them, doing the same exact thing you normally do. So TLT is one to watch today. If this starts getting crazy at noon, you know something funky is going to happen with FOMC. So use it for nothing more than a gauge for that about what we should do later on today. Um, so let's go across, and I'm going to mention let's cover oil right now, real fast. Again, we're going to come back to it. We got about 18 minutes. I'm sorry, yeah, 18 minutes before this one kicks in. You can see we got the API number, and the API number, the forecast was 1.86. The actual came in at 3.75. That's quite a big miss. Now, this is the industry, right? This is like trusting Russ or trying to give us the accurate, data, right? There's no penalty for them to, give us fake numbers. I guess they do their best because it is an institute, right? But it's industry specific, and if they're wrong, nothing really happens. And again, do I think it's going to be a positive 3.7 today? Probably not. But what's interesting about this is that data came in. Let's see. Let's bring it back. This morning, yesterday. That data came out in here. You didn't really see much reaction off of it. It went up a little bit, right? Went up a little bit. When I say a little bit, it's like $1. But again, being over $100, being right at $100 makes sense. And then the Europeans stepped in right around here, and the Europeans kind of shot it down. And then for the U.S. session, it kind of just reset, and we were right where the Europeans took it. And now it's kind of pulling back a little bit. It just goes to show you that even though we had a really, a massive miss based off the forecast. And the forecast today is still sitting at 1.8. It's basically the same as what the API number is. We're not seeing a lot of movement here. Okay. Reason why is because of 51 million people in China being locked down is really hampering and lowering demand. Um, All I'm gonna say on this one is, yeah, will we have an oil setup today? Probably. And again, right now in the 30 minute, you can see that we're already starting to kind of we got a base up top, and we really kind of have this base on bottom. It's kind of locked in both ways. Let's drop it down to a 5 minute, and you can see that yeah, there's a decent top in there. And actually, we would shrink this all the way down and kind of see where we're at. Actually, that's probably fine. We'll put it right there. I would say that right now, again, we're a little bit early. That's kind of what we're looking at. Right now, I guess, I mean, in reality, I guess you could say, hey, listen, there's a small level right there that we could kind of take something off of. There's a little bit of a test, right? Right there, right? Top of the green candle. There's your test. Ooh, it's close. Actually, it should be there, right? So we are pulling back. Obviously, right now in a 5 minute, you can see there's zero stabilization of price. Okay. Remember, for the 35 and 1 news inventory strategy, we need a stabilization in price if we're not getting it. There's a little bit of a pullback. Let's see. Again, we're going to have to come back to this one. Yep. Not getting any stabilization in price. We got one back here at 10:06, 10:05, way too early. Now is when we got to start really watching it. And we don't have it. It's driving back down again. The question is it driving all the way down to 95.50? So, um, there's a few little levels in here. But yeah, see how it's driving right now? I'm wondering if the news has already been leaked and they already know what the answer is. Um, we'll see how far this can drive. It may actually be a long opportunity, just because, again, we're seeing so much downward pressure this early. So we'll see. We'll watch it. Natural gas. Okay. Natural gas had a little bit of a reprieve from what they have had. We came all the way down and touched that 44.85. That was the top, or ended up being the bottom. We saw that the 50% really, ow, 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 you can't pull the headset off like that, buddy. Doesn't work that way. Here, you went this way. You can see that the 50% put up a really, really valiant effort. It hit it and pulled back. It hit it, came back and base. It hit it again, and there's your 3 touches, and then 4 came through. It came up at base, it pulled back and grabbed that, and then took off. So it did slice through the 61.8. It did base a little bit in front of it. So right now we're going to have to go back to our extremes. Our Friday gap from last week, which is at approximately up here at 476. And again, we know we already had one bounce. Again, that was the bounce over here. Actually, it should be there. Uh, there. Okay. And that was down at 476. I'm sorry, 4476. Okay. Right now, we're getting a little bit high up here, long in the tooth. I would say that, hey, listen, a little bit farther, we're probably in territory to take this one short. Not quite there yet, but I do think that again, I mentioned that the other day that I was bullish in oil, and again, we're up again. I'd say again, this is a little bit high. We're 2.8% higher. I'd be looking for shorts in natural gas, especially if we can get just a bit higher. Now, gold. Not surprised that gold is coming back down. We called this. We talked about the basing of the 23.6 yesterday. You can see that it pulled back, it stabilized, and went lower. We're looking for prices to come down to 1888. I do think we get down there today, particularly. Again, I don't think that the 0.25 is factored into the gold market. And I will say, um, I'm trying to think. I guess you know what? If if it is a surprise, and the surprise is we're not going to raise this time, we're going to raise next time because of the new information for China. We feel a need to slow it down. We don't want to go too fast with potential supply chain. If they say something like that, yeah, oil or I'm sorry, gold will be a nice little buy. Right now, I think we're still waiting for this to come down and tag the 1888. We'll see if it can get all the way down, and maybe there's a small term buying opportunity with the FOMC release statement. Remember, they are going to talk about how inflation is going to continue to rise and be an issue, and there's going to be price pressure for the next year. There will be people that want to try to take advantage of that with gold. So I think this one continues to go lower, but there's probably a nice little kind of news pop in here somewhere. Okay. Silver. Obviously, silver's taking it a little bit worse. Hold on, I gotta switch and get my mouse hand again. Silver is always a little bit worse. We were hoping silver is going to get up to 25.31 before news because we wanted to take it short. It's already starting to move. Could you have drawn kind of areas in this one? Yeah, you could have drawn an area right there and said, hey, look at that. I got a base at the top. It's kind of a level over here. Bring it across and, oh, look at that. Session change 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, 9:30 in the morning. And yeah, earlier in the week, I said I was expecting this one to get down to $24. Again, that's the in the mark we've been looking for. I've said it a couple different times. It's pushing now. We'll see. It's got 50 cents to go. Can we move 50 cents with FOMC? Absolutely. So again, some area for this one to go. You're gonna fall asleep, buddy. I feel like you're gonna fall asleep. He's got his head on my chest now, and he's not moving. So next step is he closes his eyes and Um, but yeah, so silver's already moving. And again, I expect, remember, the gold and silver markets technically close earlier than what the announcement is going to be. Obviously, you know, there's the ability to kind of trade them afterwards, but I expect a lot of the movement is going to be try to kind of put in a bit earlier. You'll see these contracts end earlier, particularly over at Nadex. All right. So again, not surprised by the downward movement. I think this one comes all the way down and we tag 124 or just 24 flat. Wow, I can't believe I hit it and it was 24 and then I moved it. Wow. There we go. I was like, wow, the first click was 24. So I'm looking for 24 today. It's only 50 cents more. If you're already not short this position, you should have been short from yesterday. Again, particularly with that pullback. Yeah, not much I can do. Let's cover indices real quick. VIX is still holding firm. Yep, dollar's getting weak and coming back into an area of buyers. Kind of funny. There's buyers right there. Buyers and ascending candles. I don't know if that can hold for another 3 hours though. Question is, do we base and we pull lower? So dollar's an interesting spot, but yeah, I'd say dollar. There's buyers here, which again we're talking about that dollar strength, and again if we break through, there's buyers down here, so we got some time. Let's look at the ES. He's watching the screen. All right, so ES today. Our opening candle was up. Let's see, 9:30. It was right here. Okay, I would say that this one was again, there's kind of where the push was. We were seeing that rollover in the retail sales come in. I actually expected this to go a bit higher, just because, again, people are like, "Oh, it's going to be bad. We got to sell." So all these short positions coming in. We're in an interesting spot. You can see that we have an alert up here at 43.64. Right? It's an old level. We got some testing off of it. It's not the first time that it's hit, but it did give us kind of a decent push off it last time. Um, this is going to be the big question, and again, we're 3 hours and 20 minutes away. Actually 3 hours and 40 minutes away. Everything's running high. The question is 0.25 factored in? Looking at the data right now, I feel like it is. And they're expecting a very weak statement about what the next, like, and what I mean by weak statement is, oh, his eyes are closing. Weak statement being something along the lines of, yep, we raised at 0.25 today, but we're going to see what we're going to do next time in regards to China and the lockdown. That would be considered a very weak statement. We should see all the indices pop. So we know we have a level just a little bit above, right? We got a level sitting right here. And again, we actually have an alert on that one at 43.62. Um, Overall, I would say I would, really, I'd like to get short. My inclination would be to get short before FOMC news. But just with everything going on right now, as dovish's Powell has been, I feel like I feel like the market is going to be so disappointed, even with the raise that they put in, that it's going to try to go higher. Now, maybe I am completely wrong today, guys. Maybe Powell will finally do the right thing. I doubt they surprise us with 0.5, but as I said, now that there's 51 million people locked down, and it's like, well, COVID is hitting. There's going to be supply chains again. It's going to wreck the economy again. Um, I don't even know. Like, I mean, honestly, if Pal makes a comment and says like, "Yeah, we're gonna skip next time," like, I don't think they'll skip today. But if he says they're gonna skip the next one or they're gonna weigh what the situation in China next time, I feel like that is just such a big boom for the overall economy. I mean, it's you're rolling dice with it anyway, but I just really feel like, his track record has been just weak, 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 and I feel like that's what he's going to deliver today. Which I feel like the market's not is just going to shrug it off. So, but anyway, 43.62. Again, this is a small 15-minute level. Is it going to hold something as major as a rise in interest rates? No, So again, just play it. Use caution when you're going to do it. And again, would you have had a setup for this morning? No, probably not. It needed to go a little bit higher. I would say that you probably do miss that on the opening level. Now, I know. Yes, yes. If you just close your eyes, everything will be better. Just close your eye. There we go. Put your head down. I always get his head on my shoulder. So NQ wise, again, NQ is up the most right now. 2.69%. NQ is really kind of exposed to China the most. Again, we talked yesterday about how chips were going to be a problem. Like if there's a supply chain shortage, it's going to be microchips and processors again. But then once everybody found it was Omicron, it's like, that stuff's not going to happen. No big deal. And NQ just took off. Everything was higher today. You can see Tesla. Tesla's up 4.3%, up 34 bucks. It's flying again, right? You can see that yesterday there was kind of a pullback off of that 50, and then what did it do? It based right on the 50, and then kind of took off. So it used that and blew everything out. So right now, we're actually going to take fibs and we're going to pull this. Oh, buddy, just don't headbutt me. There you go. Just right there. We're going to take this and reverse it, right? And now you can see that same level. Now it's all of a sudden becoming an area where there's buyers. And again, it took. Yes, buddy. I know. I know. The struggle is real. It's just like, oh, if you just close your eyes for 15 seconds, you're going to be out. Um, Again, NQ also very, very high. I would say that NQ is also in a similar scenario. If there was no such thing as an interest rate change today, I'd be like, yep, we got to be looking to short. Putin's going to do something funky. Something's going to happen. This is just too much of a raise, too fast, into levels where we've seen good sellers and had great reactions off of it in the past. But the way we're setting up right now, I mean, like I said, if Powell surprises, you never know. Okay. But again, with it rising up high, we have sellers here, we have sellers here. We got a couple other levels, right? I think right now at 13,831, just like in silver, I think we hit 24. I'm actually looking for a target today of 14,000, or the ability to get to 14,000. Okay. It's a large psychological number, right? Large psychological number. And if you think about where we are, we're at 13,383, right? Or 13,833, right? 830. Um, can we jump 170 points on a very weak 0.25? Heck yes, we can. So I kind of want to see what we do. And he's out. Uh, baby Kip is gone. I kind of want to see what we do around that 130 time frame. I want to see if we kind of flatline or if we pull back a little bit. I actually think there could be a long opportunity again if Pal stays with his kind of very dovish comments. So I'm looking at 14,000 today. Um, okay. YM wise. Now, YM had an area. And again, we had one, we had two, we had three. And everybody knows what happens at three. Well, I guess four. We break. We based. Like, oh, yeah, it's breaking. And we went up. We based in one candle. We pulled back. And bam, Harry Potter trade all the way up. So um, that was a good level. Hopefully, you guys were able to grab that on the top side. Right now, again, we're going to run some fibs, get it a little bit more close, and oops, not that one. A little bit more close proximity. Let's see. Yeah, right now 50 is not in there. We're close though. If we pull up just a little bit more into this range, it looks like the 50 will be in a decent area of buyers and sellers. Let's see where we have potential levels actually. Yeah, we're close. 33,900. We're already up 475. Did touch there. Let's see if we have the ability to go all the way up. 34,350. That'd be another 600 points. So daily ATR now. Daily ATR is 755. Daily ATR is 755, but we've already moved 470. We haven't had really any pullbacks on it. Oof. Let's see, another 300. Oh, 300 puts us right there. I'm wondering if we look for a target up at 34,350. Maybe a quick spike up to it and potential roll back to the downside from there. I like the level. It's definitely a confirmed level from the past. It's definitely a little bit of a reach. Um, yeah, this one pulled back 9, 9:15. Yeah. So this was a long trade at the open. There was your long trade at the open. Um, hmm. This is an interesting one. I don't think we can make this one all the way up to the big psychological number. 1 to 3 was right there. So yeah. So here's of the 15 minutes one. 9:15, 9:30. This one didn't. You didn't get an entry on this one. This one just missed it. So nothing there. NQ actually, and I didn't. I should have marked this all off. NQ was one. So NQ went all the way up. 1 to 3 is right there. There's your nine. The green is your 9:30 candle. So ES was a no entry. NQ was an entry. YM was an entry as well, and it looks like it just popped through the 1 to 3, gave you one additional pullback. I kind of like this one. I want this one to go higher. I like this 34,350. We got to slice through this level, which is going to be a pain. And then again, Russell taking off. You can see that Russell's 50. It ended up getting enough ground. Look, it based, it hit it, it based, it hit it, it pulled back. It started to form a base right below, and then it was off to the races. So it looks like with Russell going higher now, wow, can Russell get? Hmm, Russell could probably get to there. Actually, let me. Oil probably just started the move. Oil kind of held, but not in the best of areas. Let's see what oil came in as. Oh, it's an even bigger miss. Wow, so minus 4.3. So look at this. We have so much extra oil. You know why we have extra oil? Because gas prices are at $4.30. So, yeah, so that should again, once people stomach that idea of how much extra surplus we have on that one, um, again, you can see that this one already started to move down a lot from the 10 to so yeah, this was okay. I wouldn't have said, as far as the 35 and 1 goes, we typically will set this one up ahead of time. I didn't today. I didn't really, we had some basing in there, but yeah, I wouldn't have said that this one was a major trader today. It held, but it didn't really hold in a level. This wouldn't really have concerned me. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's quite the number. That's a miss of what 1.8 and 4.3, so 5, 6 million barrel difference. Yeah. So yeah, $4.30 gas. There you go. So yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit. People are looking at this one like, holy crap, what? But it just shows you, look, we just missed by 6, and there's not an immediate spike down, even on the 1 minute. Like I guess it jumps. I guess it jumped a little bit. 10:30 was right here, and it jumped 20 cents on a $6 million miss, or 6 million barrel miss. So just goes to show you how much China's in control right now and how many people are focused. All the big money is looking at FOMC. So yeah, it should go down. That's a huge miss. But I'm glad we didn't spend too much time on it today because, like I said, I didn't like all the pre-movement here and it didn't really hold. So yeah, we didn't get a trade of that one. Um, Russell though, let's go back to Russell. Um, there's nothing over there really. Look at this. I got even this one. Whoops. Look at the base right here. It based right in that same level. Um, So what this is telling me is this is the 9:30 candle. This is a parabolic move. So I would say that it is more set for a retracement than anything else. God, I wish it went into a zone. Wish it went into a zone. I don't think we can go all the way up. We're at 47 already. Let me see. 65 is the daily ATR. We're at 47 already. 30 since the open. We're at 48. We got a little bit more room to run. I'm kind of wondering. 2027. 2027 could be the short. Again, we have a test, nice strong punch out of it. We're within a decent range of 9. And again, this would be like a pre FOMC news, but that's what that one looks like. Again, if that just goes up and holds in here, that's a decent. I mean, it's before your profit target, so that's not a bad short either. Um, hmm, hmm. That's an interesting spot. I kind of like that one. So, like I said, I like this 2027. If we're in there, we're basing before FOMC. That could be a decent area to short. NQ, we're looking to go up to 14,000. You got to see that could be the short area if we can touch 14,000. YM, again, we just had this opening print. Again, I want this to go higher, but I don't know if we're going to get through this level here. And then ES, same thing. We got a level just up a little bit higher at 43.64 or 43.65. That's got a little bit more room to run. So they all got a little bit more, right? And then they're in technical short levels. So yeah, I don't know. They're all kind of set up the same way. Very interesting kind of scenario today. Um, Again, VIX is continuing to deteriorate. Let's see, was there news? Is there world peace? Oh, here you go. 20 minutes ago, Ukraine and Russia draw up neutrality plan to end the war. There you go. Yeah, we heard that. Heard that. They've made significant progress on a tentative 15-point peace plan, including a ceasefire and Russian withdrawal if Kiev declares neutrality and accepts limits on its armed forces. Okay, right before FOMC. I love the comments. So this is interesting, right? Very, again, absolutely amazing news. I think it's great. Russia gets what they want. They have to remain neutral, and there's limits on the armed forces that could be in the Ukraine, which is fine. It's not like Germany's going to invade the Ukraine. It's again against Russia that they don't want. But again, Russia gets what they want. They did not. They won't join NATO. They'll maintain neutrality, and they'll have a smaller armed forces. Basically, Putin gets everything that he wants. Um, and then what is the American response? Hey, we're going to send these drones, whatever the heck they're called. What do you call it? I forget what it's called. Where is it? Here you go. Switchblades. We're going to send switchblades. So as they're forming peace, we're going to send switchblade drones over to kill more people. So couldn't they hammer out all these points before they got this? Neuro, I think that was part of the plan. Actually, was to get. Just think about it. One of the problems they were saying was, and this goes back to, I mean, this is like a historical thing, right? Think about it. Why did the United States drop nuclear weapons? Like, what was the reason why? It's because they were arming the public and we were going to lose too many bodies because the public was going to be fighting us. If we could have basically said, "Hey, we're going to drop bombs, you should all leave." It took 300 it would have taken 3 million combatants out of the thing. If 300 million if 3 million people left, there's less people there. It's a scare tactic, right? If you can get all the people to leave, then you don't have to worry about news, that we bombed a school, right? I mean, I can tell you right now, like I live, I don't know, a couple miles from the hospital. If you bombed the hospital here in Maryland, more than one person would have died. I'm just saying, right? We bomb a hospital over there, like, oh my God, Russia's horrible. They bombed a hospital. One person died. I'll tell you right now, if you bomb the hospital over here, it's going to be a lot more than one person, right? Um, yeah, I mean, it is, it isn't. There was probably some political things to that one too. I'm sure. Like I said, I wasn't there. I mean, I know, you know, I can tell you from my grandfather who was in the war. I don't know. He felt that it was justified. I don't know. I wasn't there, so it's hard for me to make that statement. Do I think it's right to, you know, just kill, tons and tons of people with nukes? No, but you know, understand at that time, I don't know. We were attacked, and they were indiscriminate in the amount of people that they killed at Pearl Harbor. So it was kind of like, well, I don't know. I wasn't there. Different day, different age. So I don't know. But yeah, the horrors of nuclear war are bad. But yeah, so again, Ukraine, guys, we're almost at peace. We have a 15-point plan. And what does the United States do? Hey, we're going to send you not one, we're going to send you two different variants of a drone called Switchblades. You can kill all the Russians. So we're helping peace, obviously, right? We're helping peace. Um, yeah, go America. Um, yeah. U.S. is diminished. Oh, here we go. Diminished future sales expectations and rising costs lower builder confidence. So now we're already starting to get it in here. Like, hey, inflation. We're already starting to see the negativity build up. My God, I really says the end of Vienna's nuclear cloud. And meanwhile, earthquake shakes Tokyo. Sorry, Japan. We are just talking about that. Um, yeah, interesting. Interesting. Um, I love this. 1 hour and 51 minutes ago, we're sending switchblades. 1 hour, 19 minutes. Yeah, peace looks good. Advocates are all for us. This guy's like, hey, you should definitely leave it. And this guy's like, yeah, peace is hard. We're working for a compromise. And next thing you know, hey, listen, we got compromise. We got the neutrality, and NATO will never be in the Ukraine. So again, that's exactly what we wanted from the very, very beginning. So yeah, I still think the Ukraine should just join the EU and then call it a day. Like, I don't know. Calling for the cancellation of Russia, I feel, is just an example of kind of what public is right now. Like, I don't think they're justified to do it, but the same reason why we don't attack civilians, we're attacking civilians just on a financial front. Like, like I said, I don't think Putin eats at McDonald's. You know, trying to incite a riot to go against your leadership by taking out McDonald's, it's like, okay, you know, the reality is poor people, people of lesser incomes rely on fast food and things like that. That's been proven across the globe. Let's attack the people that need it the most by taking McDonald's out of there because yeah, because McPutins are a big deal, right? It's dumb. So I think there's much better ways they could do. Now they should join. Yeah, I think no, I think absolutely. If the Ukraine, I don't know, Ukraine's problem is still there's a lot of corruption in the government. People were saying that it's definitely a very, you know, I think by them joining the EU would give them a lot of legitimacy, bring them under rules and guidelines that the euro demands. But at the same time, it does also weaken the European Union. Um, Again, it goes back to the whole Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain situation. When you have one currency, you can't jack rates up and down because it affects different countries in different ways. I think that's the one issue that they would have, but it would help them with trade tremendously. It would be huge for them, right? It would definitely provide legitimacy, and again, there's no military backing with it. Um, and again, if they ever down the road said, you know what, we're part of the EU, we want to join NATO too, Putin will come right across the border again. So it is what it is. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the drawing. That's it for today. Let's see what is oil. If oil is moving much now because of it. Nah, now look at oil. No response. And again, that's why I was kind of like, not really loving this one today. And that's what's happened when you see something you don't really like. And again, you know, looking at this would have been more set up for more of a long, but this is just way too much movement to the downside that fast right before news. And if you guys are wondering why this is going up right now, it's because everybody and their brother saw this number and said, "Holy crap, short," and that's why it's going up. Understand that the driving factor right now is China, not oil inventory. So all right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. So Neuro won yesterday. So Neuro's going for 100 today. Everybody else is going for their 50. We got our usual suspects in. Neuro's a little bit high. Briggs is trying to get in there. Briggs is the big blind player at all times. So let's close it down. Let's see who the winner of today's drawing is. And you guys can see it on my screen at the same time, right? Oh, actually, I can't see what it says on Twitch, but you guys can probably see it. But winner of today's drawing is Will. How many did you buy? Will bought one. Wow, go Will. Will, I swear to God, you went like a year without winning, and now you're like, it's definitely every other week. Up its leaderboard. Right? I mean, I will. I legitimately feel like you went like a year without winning. And then like 2022 has definitely been, I don't know, man. I feel like you've definitely won more in 2022 than like the 2 years prior to that. It's kind of crazy, right? It's crazy. All right, with that said, I am out of here. Again, 2 p.m. today. Watch your positions. Make sure you guys are, again, if you are in profit, there's no shame in taking it off before FOMC. Like I said, they're saying that it is, what do they say? It's a historic day. The United States has raised interest rates before. This is not the first time. I mean, it's happened many times in my lifetime. Um, but it is going to cause some market movement. It looks like a lot of things are going higher, preparing for shorts. Um, but I'm going to say it right now. If they say we're going to do 25, but we're not going to commit to raising next time because of the scenario in China, I think that's a buy opportunity for the market. It's probably a buying opportunity for gold. And again, it just shows you how political the Fed is. It was funny. Listen, CNBC yesterday actually talked about it. They're like, a lot of people are saying that the Fed is, a puppet, and it's like, really? This was the same guy that said that, um, Powell is more of a hawk. I was like, what? I was like, "Do we live in the same world?" So, anyway, with that said, you need anything, I'll be around today. Actually, I'll be in and out. I got a bunch of errands I do have to run today. But hit me a message on Discord. So, with that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Protect your positions at 2. And again, go make some money today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.